Hello, it's been quite some time now since I've given an update about my health, and I thought I was overdue, or maybe just due, because I have some information to share with you. So the first thing is that um, I've noticed inconsistent results when it comes to the twinges around my heart and also the other side of my chest. I get them on both sides, both around my heart and sometimes over on this side as well. I don't know what the heck that means. Um, and when I told my doctor about it months and months ago, she didn't know what to think of it either, other than to ask if it was on, when I mentioned it first, it was, just talking about this side. Then I mentioned this side. So she didn't say anything about it. So that's one. And then the palpitations. I had a period of like 4 or 5 days last week where I had no palpitations whatsoever. Maybe even longer than that. And I cannot figure out what I did that caused that to subside. And then it started back up, but not a lot, just some. And then I just weighed myself, and I am down to 170 pounds. Now, historically, throughout most of my life, I weighed 180 pounds. That started I think in high school. Maybe, yeah, it started in high school. And when I lived in Indonesia, I maintained that weight. When I came back to America to visit in 2006, my weight miraculously in the 2 months or so that I was here shot up to 200 pounds. And when I went back to Indonesia, my weight dropped again. And when I moved here in 2017, my weight rapidly dropped. Went back up to over 200 pounds. And then I used a slow diet, which is my way of saying that I reduced my caloric intake, and not drastically, but I was more cautious about what I was eating, and got my weight back down to 180, and then I stopped paying attention, and it got back up to 205, which is the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I probably actually got up to 205 in 2006 as well. But anyways, I digress. So I'm down to 170. So that's from the start of this year until now, Thanksgiving Day. I have lost 35 pounds, and you would think, oh, well, why haven't you lost more? Well, if you think about it, I also work in a very physical position at Amazon Air. I work in the sortation center, or rather, more specifically, I load airplane containers with packages and big bags full of small packages and bags. And I push those containers around on a caster deck, and those containers can weigh up to 3,800 pounds, which is over 2 tons. Granted, I have another person helping me, which is great because when they weigh two tons, they're pretty heavy to push by yourself. You can do it, but they're heavy. So I've got a lot of muscle that has grown, and because muscle is much more dense than fat, I have actually probably lost in terms of fat a lot more. I know that my waist size is smaller. The love handles I used to have on the sides of my body have been gone for many months now, and so yeah, I'm doing well for the most part. I had a couple of injuries recently related to work, but aside from that, I'm doing really well. And the last thing I wanted to share with you, and I found this very surprising. One day I came home from work. Now, my fingernails had grown out, and I try not to let them grow out very long because my fingernails throughout most of my life have been very fragile. I mean, ridiculously so. It was very frustrating. And up until maybe 3 months ago, they remained that way. And then one day I came home and I grabbed a nail clipper and I was trying to cut my fingernails and I couldn't. It was incredibly difficult to get them to cut. And partially it was just I had the wrong angle, but partially for some reason my fingernails had become stronger. Now, I've never, ever, ever had this happen in my life before, where my nails have become significantly strong. And I was talking to a guy who used to be a combat medic, I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, weak fingernails is a sign of malnourishment. And obviously he couldn't, tell me what kind of malnourishment that might be. He did point out what I already knew, that most doctors have almost no education in nutrition, but that, yeah, most likely something in my diet was deficient, and that was the reason that my fingernails were so fragile. And now they're not fragile anymore. They don't break at the slightest provocation. And it's great. I'm very happy. I just wish I knew what it was that I'm getting now in my vegan diet that I didn't get as an omnivore. Because I've spent most of my life trying to eat fairly well. Well, with the exception of all the bad food that I ate while doing reviews for my Glenn's Fast Reviews channel. I've eaten relatively well. I've never been much of a one for fast food, and I've always eaten more grains and vegetables and fruits than meat. But yeah, it's kind of surprising. So if you happen to be an expert in nutrition and you have any theories about what it is that I'm doing differently, or what vitamins or what omega fatty acids or whatever might be contributing to this improvement in my fingernails, I'd love to hear about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.